702.
The Big Interview
With Bongani Bingwa.
17 minutes after 7, we've already seen, of course, the departure of one minister. You may remember Nobuhle Nkabane, who was, of course, formerly the Minister of Higher Education and Training. She fell because of an issue related to the South Africa's Sector Education and Training Authorities board appointments. Remember, she was accused of misleading Parliament. Well, this week that controversy has erupted once more. DA Member of Parliament Karabo Khakhau says Minister Manamela, who replaced Nkabane, has stacked these boards with ANC loyalists, including former mayors, provincial executives, youth league leaders, and even ward councillor candidates. Are we seeing history repeat itself, with the exception perhaps that the incumbent has not misled Parliament about it? Karabo Khakhau joins us now, and a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to your listeners.
Let's just go back to perhaps where this matter started earlier in the year with the former minister. What were the issues in terms of those appointments? And we'll come to, of course, what has transpired this week. But for context and background, let's go back to where this mess started.
Well, that started on the basis of three things. One, the number of appointments. Two, the quality of appointments. And three, lying. So those are the three graphs that we had with Dr. Nkabane, where you would know that there are 21 SETAs in this country, each with their own executive, own board, and own chairperson of the board, right? Of the country's budgets that are given to them or invested to them annually from Treasury, they are responsible for a little over 20 billion rand of your money as a South African in this country. So what we had a gripe with is that, one, the terms of office for all of these people, SETAs, CEOs, had lapsed. So Nkabane had to then appoint new people, undergo the process as detailed in the Skills Development Act to recruit new people. The only thing that she was able to do, which she was late for, was to then appoint chairpersons. And our gripe then was the quality of the chairpersons that she appointed was shady because it pointed directly towards state capture, cadre deployment, classic ANC culture, where majority, not 98% of the people that she chose were ANC cadres who were predominantly from her provincial deployment turf, KwaZulu-Natal. But then in other parts of the country, you had people like Matasha's son, you had people in Gauteng like Banjile Masuku's wife, you had people in Khabsmande who've been circulating in the system as cadres in municipalities and Salt Lake.
Yeah.
The whole thing went on. So the problem we had was she appointed those people, which she withdrew. But then we were also interested in knowing the process that she followed, and we then uncovered that she lied about that. Now we have her successor, Manamela, now following in those same footsteps. How so? One, there are 18 of the 21 SETAs that have had their boards appointed. 18 because 3 have been placed under administration, and I think I've had a conversation at 702 about the administrators before. So outside of those under administration, whose administrators themselves are shady people who are complicit in corruption, fraud, and mismanagement, as per what forensic reports have shown us. And then one of them has been responsible for overseeing the destruction and ruin of SETAs for the last 8 years, since 2017, as the deputy director, Director General responsible for overseeing the SETAs since 2017, Datumvalo. There's the remaining 18. Which is a bulk number of 203 names of board members that he now appointed. Again, we are seeing their cadres. We're seeing people. I want to give you the names in particular to open here for you. We're seeing people who have been within the ANC system for a very, very long time. For example, when you look at Tita, we have Ndodeta Molefe, who is a publicly identified ANC Youth League and branch figure. When you look at Sasita, you have Vusi Changase, who's linked to the ANC through the regional executive committee of the Moses Mabandla region of the ANC, and is part of the communications
Karabo,
network there.
let me interrupt you for a second, and let's go back to that issue of process. How regulated is the process of appointing not only the chairs of these SETA boards, but indeed the members themselves?
So include even the CEOs. So there's three. I want us to have all three. So they are regulated by the Skills Development Act, which details that once terms of offices of all three these people, or people of those positions, what is supposed to happen is that the minister is supposed to, what's first supposed to happen is that the boards are supposed to be constituted, which means that the director responsible for skills development in the department is supposed to then send out public communication for people to apply, go through the shortlisting process, and then he then sifts through it to make recommendations sharp, which in South Africa's context is supposed to follow the public
commentary process?
No,
participation?
No. So it's not committee process, because the Skills Development Act doesn't say that before the minister makes an appointment, those things must come to committee first.
The thrust of my question is I'm trying to figure out, in your mind, how the minister has fallen foul in terms of the specifications of the quality of people that are meant to be chosen to fulfill these roles.
I'm trying to get there. The reason why it's a loaded thing. So it's not an... Okay. Give me a minute to land the point.
Go ahead.
So, yes. So the Skills Development Act says this, Bongani. The minister goes through that process, which I've just explained right now. And then, according to the Act...
Just hold on. I interrupted you. You were saying it's the process of public what? I interrupted you. I said commentary or participation. You said no. So let's start there.
So let's go back. Let's start, because there are different processes. Let's start here, because there are nuances within the Skills Development Act and which people are appointed how. So, with the point of the boards that are of the board chairpersons and the boards that I'm making specifically, I said that the Skills Development Director would then go out on a gazette and publish applications, and then there would be a screening process that then goes to the minister with a short list for the minister's consideration. But before he does that, the National Skills Authority has a responsibility to scrutinize, because the Act says he must consult the NSA, which is currently headed up by another ANC cadre from the ANC Youth League, who was former NYDA. But that authority, the board of the NSA, is then consulted to say, do they think the minister's appointments make sense or not? And it is only when they say yes that the minister makes those appointments. So flag that one part. And then after the boards exist, then we have the process of the chairpersons, which follows the same
process,
logic and process that I've just explained. But then you have the process of the CEOs. With the CEOs, what happens is the boards themselves have to go through the process. No, they don't appoint. The only person that has the responsibility to appoint is the minister. But with the CEO, or in this instance, for the CEO, what the board does is the board goes through the process of recruiting as per what the provisions of the Skills Development Act say. And then after recruiting and shortlisting, they're supposed to give the minister a minimum of 3 names to choose from. And even those 3 names he must still take to the the National Skills Authority. So what we have as a problem of process here is there are variations of irregularities. Number one, with the CEOs outside of the boards, which are stacked with cadres. With CEOs, the process that was followed did not meet the master of the Skills Development Act process that I've just explained. So there wasn't a recruitment process where people had to apply, and then there was a shortlisting process and a recommendation of 3. Where CEOs, whose terms others have just been extended, for fun. People within SETA and other SETAs, Seta, all of those people who have been sitting over audit outcomes for 4 consecutive years of unclean audits that detail irregularities, wasteful expenditure, and the Auditor General, quite frankly, saying when we assess the finances of these people, we cannot find proof of where they have spent their money, because they would say, for example, Bongani, how if you've bought a loaf of bread for 23 rand, you must be able to show me what that loaf of bread is, or somebody at least in the house must have eaten that bread for us to know you bought it. And if there's an audit that comes and nobody can tell the bread or the slip, and not even a neighbor saw you go buy that bread, you most likely did not buy that bread. And that's what the Auditor General says. So that's one. And then there were extension of, so apart from the extension of terms of CEOs without following a process, there was then the appointment of other CEOs without following the process itself.
So I imagine then what you would want is for the minister to appear before Parliament and at least give you some kind of record of decision to arrive at these appointments.
100%. In the same way that we did with his predecessor, where we want to test whether the decisions he takes are in line with the prescripts of the law.
All right, appreciate your time. Karabo, Khakhau, Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.